So, hello everyone and welcome to today's video. The possibility of a third Dragon Ball Xenoverse game is far from zero. Now, if we do get Xenoverse 3 or a game in the style of Xenoverse, then there's quite a few things that do need to be fixed in my opinion, and that's what I want to do for this video. I want to take a look at my top 10 fixes and changes and stuff like that for awoken skills and transformations for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. And before we get into this list, just go and check if you're subscribed to the channel, and if you're not, please do subscribe. You can always unsub later on if you so desire, but subscribing does help me out a great deal. And if you are subscribed, just check that you still are, and if you are, leave a like. And that said, let's get into this list. Starting off the list at number 10, de-transforming. I think that's the right word. Technically, this is already in Xenoverse 2, but it's very, very awkward. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you're a Saiyan that's already in Super Saiyan 1, and you've got 4 bars of ki, but you want, for whatever reason, you want to go back to your base form. What you would have to do is you have to click the input again to first go into the next available Super Saiyan transformation because you have enough ki to do so. Then click the input again to then go back to your base form. And depending on the battle, who you're battling against and stuff like that, this could basically be the end of the fight for you, because it is fairly easy for the most part to get a perfect block when your opponent uses the Super Saiyan Awoken. It's even worse with Kaioken because of the stamina drain as well. A fix for this that I can think of is have it so you have to hold down the input to go to the next available transformation if you do indeed have enough ki to do so, and if you just tap it like how it works right now, just clicking it will then revert you back to your base form. I think this will just be a fantastic solution to, I'll be completely honest, it is a very, very, very minuscule issue, but it's just something that I do think, especially with Kaioken, is a bit of an oversight. Number 9, Super Saiyan hair. Yes, we're coming back to this one, lads. I'm not going to speak too much about this one in this specific video because in my last top 10 video, link in the description by the way, I talk about this in more detail. If Ultimate Tenkaichi, released in 2011, could do this, then there's literally zero excuse or justification for every other Dragon Ball console game with a character creation system released after Ultimate Tenkaichi. There's no reason or excuse or anything like that for these games not to have it in, especially in Xenoverse 2. And if Xenoverse 3 does happen, it needs to be in there. Modders have been able to do it for a very long time in both Xenoverse games. Yeah, there's no reasoning or no excuse for it not to be in. Super spiky, super hair, super sonic. Moving on. Number 8. Name fixes. This is a specific one for me, which, I'll be completely honest, it's not the worst thing in the world, naturally, but they should fix the names of certain Awokens in Xenoverse 2. Let me give you an example. Turn golden for the golden transformation for your Frieza race character. No, golden form, change to golden form, golden evolution, something like that. Same thing for the Namekian turn giant. Want an awful name, call it either Super Namekian or Giant Namekian, not turn giant. This is, again, a very minor thing, but it's something that's like it's a bit of a pet peeve for me in Xenoverse 2. And also change Super Vegeta 1 to maybe Ascended Super Saiyan and Super Vegeta 2 to maybe Ultra Super Saiyan, and then make them more, look more so those transformations rather than Super Vegeta 1 and Super Vegeta 2, which is kind of garbage in my opinion. Coming in at number 7, a dedicated Awoken toolbar. Now, what I mean by this is, as of right now, we have 2 sort of like mid-battle toolbars in Xenoverse 2. One is for your 4 super attacks, and the second is for your evasive, and Awoken, and up to 2 ultimates. Change this so the second one, well, so firstly the super attack bar, keep that the same for them, that works fine. Then have the second one, so you can mix and match up to 4 evasives or ultimates. So if you want, you can have 1 evasive and up to 3 ultimates, or vice versa. Then have a third toolbar, which would just be for your Awoken skills. And I'm thinking about it now, maybe also make it so on this new third Awoken toolbar, maybe have it so one of the inputs is a de-transform option. Maybe that would rule out number 10 on this list, but I'll just think about it now. That makes a lot of sense to me. Then how it's taken have up to 3 different Awokens, and by that I don't mean Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3. Like I'd just count those as Super Saiyan, but maybe have the option so I can mix and match with the independent Super Saiyan Awokens. But I mean it as in have one option for de-transforming, have another option for Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, have one option for Ultra Instinct if that gets added, and have one option for Super Saiyan, which the latter would be Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3. You can only use one at a time, and I think it'll be great to mix and match and be able to use different Awokens depending on the opponent, the situation, and stuff like that. Number 6, a data transfer Awoken skill. What do I mean by this? Thank you for asking once again. Hey, have you left that like yet? Thank you ever so much. Now, this could work a few ways. Either just do a data transfer from Xenoverse 1 to 3 maybe, or from Xenoverse 2 to 3. Or what I would prefer is if you've done a data transfer from Xenoverse 1 to Xenoverse 2, then that same Xenoverse 2 save data from Xenoverse 2 to a potential third Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. However, so if you do that, you get an exclusive Awoken. Maybe nothing too flashy or too broken. It could be something like a Patrol the Spirit Awoken or something like that, where your character maybe appears more so like a bit of a spirit, or like, I guess, maybe like a Force Ghost or something like that, which it could be, I guess, in like the canon or lore or something. The Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2 main protagonists that you use the data transfer feature on, maybe they are in your character pause, and it gives them a sort of like spirit looking appearance. It would just be something that I think that'll be so cool, and a nice little send off if Xenoverse 3 happens, and if that's the final Xenoverse game, which we don't know if that is going to happen at this point. For all we know, they could go until the end of time because of how well Xenoverse sells. So that said, moving on. Number 5, more sane transformations. Now, I know there's going to be a few of you that will groan and roll your eyes and say, oh, more, when you hear this, but there's no reason why Saiyans shouldn't get Full Power Super Saiyan, Legendary Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan Berserk, Berserk Super Saiyan, whatever it's called, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan Rose, Super Saiyan Rage, Grey Type, and Golden Grey Type. Those two we'll get into in a little bit, don't worry. There's no reason why Saiyans shouldn't have all of those Awoken skills. Now, you could argue that, oh, well, what about the other races? And I'll reply to that. What about the other races? You know, sure, give them, and it'll be my next point, give them more Awokens for sure, and more exclusive ones that can only be used by them. Sure, absolutely, I would love that. But Saiyans should not be restricted because of favoritism or anything like that. I mean, let's be fair, at the end of the day, it's a game, right? Like, just put more Saiyan Awokens in regardless. Again, there's no reason why any of those Awokens, there's no reason why they shouldn't be usable by our Saiyan characters. Number 4, more transformations in general. Now, excluding Saiyans, because I've just mentioned those like a good minute. Yeah, just give every other race more exclusive and non-exclusive Awokens. For example, with the Martian race, give them a super form, maybe a bit of an absorption form with like certain characters already in the game, like Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, Broly, you know, characters like that. For the Frieza race, you can give them like the ultimate golden form, like what Metal Cooler is, or you know, even Metal Cooler, a robotic transformation, or like a final form Cooler, and even, you know, golden final form Cooler from the Super Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime. I don't really think I need to go over this too much, but there are certain races, for example, Earthlings, where I think it's going to be really hard to give them something that you could justify it being exclusive for them. Right now in Xenoverse 2, their only race-specific or exclusive Awoken is the Pale Pole Pro, but thinking about it, there's no reason why any other race can't use that. And in fact, on the PC mods for Xenoverse 2 on Steam offline, there's been mods so anyone can use that, right? But I do understand it. It's to give a bit more, I guess, like exclusivity and diversity and a more appeal to those races. But if there's no specific reason why a race can't use a specific skill, for example, in this case, the Power Pole Pro, just give it to everyone. Why not? Number 3, giant awoken skills for everyone. Technically already in the game in the form of the turn giant, change it to giant Namekian, super Namekian, either. The giant Namekian awoken skill for Namekians. But as I mentioned earlier, like they could easily do this for, you know, start off with Saiyans again, with either and or both Great Ape and or Golden Great Ape. For margins, I'm sure they can just make themselves as big or as small as they so desire. So that's that. That's over half of them already sorted. All you need to think about now is the Frieza race and Earthlings. Well, what you could do is also add Ultra Instinct and use that sort of, I don't know what the exact form is called right now, like the Avatar form when Goku projects himself as Mastered Ultra Instinct into a giant to finally defeat Moro in the Dragon Ball Super manga. You could just do that, and that's a giant character, giant transformation, awoken that you've got right there for quite literally every single race, if they do indeed add Ultra Instinct. Number 2, cutscenes / immersion. Now by this I mean, let me just give you an example. Let's say that they decide to add Super Saiyan 4 for your Saiyan character in a future update, a future game, it doesn't matter, but let's just say they do that. They could just do it so, oh, maybe you have to max out your friendship with a certain character, what, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that'll be something you have to do, but then maybe to unlock Super Saiyan 4 itself to then use at will, maybe you get somehow Great Ape, then maybe Golden Great Ape. And let's say you've got the Golden Great Ape Awoken equipped, then you go into a battle, either offline, online, a parallel quest, a raid, expert mission. Doesn't matter what it is, world tournament, again, does not matter what it is. But then let's say that the way you then unlock Super Saiyan 4 to then use at will and whenever you want is to mid-battle turn into a Golden Great Ape and then you have to win. And if you do then win, at the end of the battle, when you get your score, Zenny, whatever, it'll then say, you've mastered a new skill, Super Saiyan 4. That's just one example. In my opinion, stuff like this will just add to like the immersion and the connection and just make it more, I guess, feel like a Dragon Ball game rather than just saying, oh, you want Super Saiyan 4? Yeah, it's 500 TP medals. Go buy it. Haha. Again, this is like a minor thing, but I just think you'll add that little bit of, I guess, like that extra nice bit of touch, I guess, if that makes sense. Let's move on to number 1. And number 1, mid-battle fusion. It can be either and or all of Metamorian, Potara fusion, Martian absorption, Namekian merging. It doesn't matter. It can be any of these or any new concept that they decide that they could potentially come up with. Now, if this is something that does actually get added, it would have to work as an Awoken. Kind of like how it worked in old Dragon Ball games, like in the Budokai series and in the Tenkaichi series. It would have to be controlled by the player and have no sort of input or, I guess, influence from another player online. So if it's like a team battle, you wouldn't fuse with your teammate because that just would not work. Who would control the character? It'll be like a random chance, or it'll be that one person would have to agree beforehand or something like that, and it wouldn't be something that you could split the controls off. It just would not work, period. No arguing, it just wouldn't work like that. So you could have it so a Metamorian fusion, maybe your character does the fusion dance with a character in the game, like maybe from like a list of characters, like for example Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, it doesn't matter who, but yeah, it would have to work offline and more so a bit of an Awoken rather than an actual fusion with real players online. Again, if the latter happens, it just would not work at all, period. And that's my list. Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you next time.